Hello, just a little bit of information like I always like to do in my videos. Wearing a hat right now. Try not to wear one all the time, but getting my hair cut later today, and even though this video will come out after my previous video, trying to do some filming in between that, so I don't miss out on any time trying to upload stuff. You're going to see me look down quite a bit because not all this is written down, but quite a bit of notes here. But let's go ahead and get into talking about my thoughts on Renegades Episode 1 of the new G.I. Joe series. So there's going to be some pros and some cons. I'll do my best to point out the cons, but in another video or in the comments hopefully of this video, I definitely will be willing to talk about cons, because I'm sure there are some cons and I'm just not seeing them quite yet, or maybe I have an explanation for why I don't really see that as a complete con, maybe as you do. So the first thing we have with the episode 1 that I have as a pro is the music to the intro that we're shown before we even find out about the cartoon. So kind of like a Resident Evil, if you've seen that movie or line of movies, where you've got this, as long as the public knows, a organization that is the best, the greatest thing on earth, and yet a lot of other people know that this organization isn't really as candy sweet as they're trying to come off as. But the music and feel and imagery of the opening is really, really great. So that's what I have, is great Resident Evil 3 opening about a corporation. The other thing I like is if you're somebody who's been watching G.I. Joe for a while, or maybe even just remember this from when you were a kid, or people just saying it in pulp culture, the nice thing is that you have the, and even my friends sometimes say it too, you have this way of using and knowing is half the battle in a nice way. Unlike G.I. Joe normally being the one to say it, this time we have the Cobra CEO using that tagline, so that was nice. Then we have kind of a look at what I'm kind of saying is either a Cobra soldier, or maybe even a kind of not as exact interpretation of what hopefully will be a toy that will either come out before this. It's called the Shock Trooper, and I think some people have already found that, but I'll have to wait until next year or something to get that probably. Then we go into the title screen. I really like the title screen. It starts out as a really close-up shot of either a red dot, or even maybe you can make out that it's an eye, and then it pulls back and it shows what is going to be possibly the look of Cobra Commander. It might change from what I've seen on the forums and everything, but it's kind of nice because you have this ticking time bomb right after you see Cobra Commander, and he's in some ways a ticking time bomb for G.I. Joe and for the world in general. So whether that was an intended thing or not, that I thought was really cool. So then we start seeing all of our unknown recruits, and the first one we see is a blonde recruit, and he's kind of in basic training, and he's outshining everyone else that he's training with, and later we find out that that is Duke. So that was something that was really nice. I know the look is different to this cartoon, but that's been the same with all the different incarnations of G.I. Joe. It's always had some changes, whether it was with Sunbow or Deke or the people that made Sigma 6. I can't really think of who that company was. So then I have Lady J. We see Lady J, and it's not the Lady J that we're used to, but by that, her look is pretty much the same. She's got the cap and everything, but she's Latina this time. It will be very interesting, other than her accent and background and everything, to see how this Latina persona image of Lady J plays out or not. But so far I like it, you know, I don't mind it. The other thing is we get a hint at sort of our next female recruit, and that's Scarlett O'Hara, because Lady J is going around the headquarters or complex tracking down all the other recruits and showing them an image of what we later find out is Scarlett. Then I don't know about anyone who's been in basic training, or, you know, besides my dad and brother, but we've never really talked about it or not. So you see an image of Ripcord, or later we find out is Ripcord. Weems is what he's being referred to now, is jumping off of this almost crane-looking structure, and I don't know how that works. You know, anybody that's been in basic training or knows, how would you be parachuting for the first time? Would they really have something like that? Which I don't think they would. Or would they really just put you up in a plane? So that's another comment that I would love to find out about, or information I would love to have in a comment. So yeah, I just have that it was some unbelievable parachute thing. The other thing is there's been, up to this point or going on, there's all these jokes that they do, and I really find them funny. They're not, so far, I don't think they're stupid. You know, it really feels like a legit joke. It feels like something that I would say or my friends would say, you know, when or anybody interacting with each other. So the jokes really come off really well, and I think they're very cute and fun. So then my favorite character so far, other than Cobra Commander, I'm sure maybe later, is Tunnel Rat. I really like Tunnel Rat's persona in this reimagining of G.I. Joe. Sigma 6, I really couldn't get into that. If you haven't seen Sigma 6, basically he was somebody that I'm like, really? How did this person ever become part of the high classified, you know, best of the best soldiers? And basically, if you know anything about Bazooka and how they treated Bazooka in the Real American Hero TV show or cartoon, if you can basically picture something worse than Bazooka, even though as a kid I didn't think it was that bad, but yeah, this image of and thought of Tunnel Rat was not great in my opinion. The toy was really cool though. I did like the 8-inch Sigma 6 Tunnel Rat. So then we see a new look for Roadblock. I'm not really sure how I feel about him. I'm glad that he's a tall and large guy, but the mutton chops thing will be interesting. So if that gets taken to the toy form, that will be interesting. Maybe he'll look much cooler in a toy form. The other thing I like is how they don't really know each other. So you're getting to know them in the same way that they are getting to know the characters. And then a scene that we all know were coming was of Scarlett finally. She walks into or steps into a helicopter that's about to take off. So that scene was coming, that we knew, but it was cool to finally see it play out. So then they talk about how they're going to go to a complex, Cobra Industries complex, and it takes place in Springfield, so that's another nice wink to Springfield. So we'll stop here and continue on.